Hey, welcome back. This week's speaking tip is about helping. Welcome back for another speaking tip. I want to talk to you today about picking your speech topics and the subjects that you put into your speeches. And the big thing I want to discuss is it's not about the cancer. And the reason I bring that up, a lot of people I've coached feel that they have to have some catastrophe in their life to have a great speech topic. And cancer is something that comes up on a regular basis, that either they had it or a family member had it. And the fact that they overcame it in some capacity. Here's the point. It's not about the cancer. It's not about the fact that you were wrongly incarcerated for murder for 30 years and had to go to jail. It's not about the fact that you had a brutal divorce, or you were unjustly fired. Whatever the catastrophe was in your life, that is actually not the subject of your speech. That is not the message of your speech. And so many speakers that I have worked with focus on that as that is the big thing they want to talk about. Where the message resonates in your speech is, what did you find in yourself that allowed you to overcome what seemed to be an insurmountable barrier? Now, that insurmountable barrier may have been cancer. It may have been the fact that you were wrongly incarcerated for murder. It may have been the fact that you were unjustly fired or went through a brutal divorce or were run over by a steamroller on Main Street and broke every bone in your body and you had to learn to walk again. It could have been those situations, but that's not what the message is. The message is, what did you discover in yourself that allowed you to overcome that barrier? Because that's what your audience needs to know, because their barrier is going to be different than yours. But what you want to give them is what you learned on how to overcome things that seem to be bigger than yourself. So when they get faced with whatever they face in their life, they go, oh, I remember that speech that so-and-so gave. And they can have that information that will hopefully help them. Now, this comes back to one of my fundamental points in speaking is, at the end of the day, how am I going to help the members of the audience that hear me? How am I going to help them to live their life more successfully? How am I going to help them to survive better? How am I going to help them to overcome and handle many of the issues in life that we all get faced with? Once they leave my talk, how will they think and feel and act differently because of what I said? And the power of our message is, how long does that message resonate with the people after they hear it? Now, it's very true. We've had a lot of people talk to us our whole lives, and some people, we can't remember what they said 5 minutes after they said it. But there are a few people that they've said something and the message was presented in such a way that it continues to resonate with us every single day. That was the type of person I aspired to be as a speaker, someone who gave solid information that actually helped people improve their lives, live a more successful life, overcome and handle the adversities and the barriers, the struggles that they ran into in life, because that's what I was looking for. And I appreciated those people that shared those things with me, and I wanted to pass that on to somebody else. And as I said, so many people I've talked to, they get all wrapped up in the catastrophe or the barrier. Now, another thing to look at with this, especially dealing with cancer as a subject, and I only say this because I can't tell you how many cancer speeches I've heard. Everybody I know has had an experience with cancer. And when I give my live seminars, I'll raise my hand and I said, who here, you don't have to say this about yourself, but who here has known someone personally that's had cancer? Every one of the hands in the room goes up. I said, who here has lost somebody that they've known to cancer? Probably 70% of the hands go up. So here's the other thing to understand. When I say cancer or whatever it is, but if I say cancer, everybody's got their own experience with it. They're going to think of their experience. And if 70% of the people in your audience lost somebody close to them because they didn't overcome their cancer, and you talk about how great you were because you overcame yours, essentially what you're saying to the audience is that loved one in the audience, that loved one that you know, wasn't as smart or as good as I was because they didn't overcome their cancer. I overcame my cancer. And so you got to be very careful on how you use some of these topics. But the main message I want to get is what you're really wanting to share with them is what you discovered in yourself that allowed you to overcome that insurmountable barrier. And on that. So that's my message for today. Look at what message you can give the audience to apply to their life to help them survive, help them be more successful, help them to handle and overcome the struggles, the barriers, the adversity of life. That's what you want to give them. Until next week.